Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today I have such an interesting video for you. You know how sometimes like things just like scratch your brain, and they scratch your brain in a way that like may not matter to anybody else, but it like matters to you. So this is going to be sort of a deep dive, sort of not. It's just like all these little connections that I see, and I want to share them with you and see what you think. So the purpose of this video is to talk about Squishmallows. So here's our little Squishmallow friend. Typically Squishmallows don't really have legs, but the Bigfoot do, and those are the ones I primarily collect. And here is the other company we're going to be talking about. This is Build-A-Bear, and he's actually an older Build-A-Bear. So I have purchased a SKOOSHERZ from Build-A-Bear, and honestly when I initially saw it, it was actually on my Facebook feed. I thought Squishmallow was going to sue them, but after looking at it more closely, I realized the differences that I saw, and I wanted to mention those. But Squishmallow is suing Build-A-Bear, and I want to dive into the idea of inspiration and stealing in the toy world. So that's what we're going to get into. We are going to open this SKOOSHERZ, and I'm gonna do a little comparison. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see this one. I also ordered the new Build-A-Bear beans, which give me Palm Piles and Beanie Baby and Bum Bums vibes. And Bum Bums is also a Kelly Toy product, kind of like Squishmallow. So I want to start out by saying I feel like Build-A-Bear has done what they have done, which is this concept of building a bear, really well for a long time. And I feel like it's nice for them to try to create some new products and keep things fresh. I know they've had some really cute things come out in the past few years, like their frogs and their aliens are unmatched. I love them so much. I love both companies. But I do have opinions, but let's get into it. So the reason that Squishmallow is suing Build-A-Bear is because they think that Build-A-Bear is stealing their ideas, and that they're creating a knockoff version of the Squishmallow, and that people are going to somehow mistaken the Build-A-Bear SKOOSHERZ for a Squishmallow, which I don't think that's true. But they said that they have a Japanese kawaii style plush, and that's what their main feature is, that Build-A-Bear is trying to steal. So for that, I have to say, let's look into the dates that a lot of these toys were created and get into some like backstory, a little toy history if you will. So Squishmallow was created in 2017, and Build-A-Bear was created in 1997. So in 1997, Maxine Clark, she took her friend's daughter shopping. They were looking for a specific Beanie Baby, and when they couldn't find the Beanie Baby, the little girl, the 10-year-old, suggested to Maxine that they go home and they make their own. And from that idea, she founded Build-A-Bear, so people could make their own bear. And the Build-A-Bears came with a birth certificate. But do you know where the idea of a birth certificate originated? Well, so in 1979, let me double check that it's not 78. In 1978, Xavier Roberts created the Little People original. This was originally in Georgia. I think it started out in Helen. now Babyland has moved to Cleveland, I'm pretty sure. But so he created this place where you could go and adopt. And you could go and adopt a baby that was completely original, and it would be different. No two were going to be alike. Eventually this idea was mass marketed, and then there was the Cabbage Patch craze of the 80s.
The Cabbage Patch Kids. Each doll is different, and you can pretend to adopt them.
My baby has a real diaper.
You can love and care for them like your very own.
You're a pal. You're the only one. I love you.
They're each one of a kind. They're cabbage.
But where did Xavier Roberts get his idea? So his idea actually came from a lady by the name of Martha Nelson Thomas, and she was from Kentucky. She sadly passed away from cancer, I think, in 2013. But she was the inventor of the doll baby. And Xavier Roberts actually met her at a fair where she was selling her doll babies for very reasonable prices, and she created the idea of the like birth certificate in a way, but it wasn't a birth certificate. It was a little tag, kind of like Beanie Babies, where it had their birth date and their name and their information on it. And from that, Xavier adapted the idea and made the birth certificate where you could adopt a Cabbage Patch Kid. So Martha wanted to, her babies are really beautiful, and I would love to have one. Let's just side note, I'm gonna put some pictures. I've never seen one in person. I've never seen one for sale. And so Xavier offered her to sell them, her babies, in a gift shop that he was working at during college, because he went to art school. And she at first let him do it, and then after a while she didn't like the prices. She didn't think it was accessible to a lot of people, and she wanted her babies to be more of like a gift or like a loving thing, like a real baby. Her doll babies, she cared for these babies so much, and you can tell that in the pictures and stuff. But once she told Xavier, like, I don't want to do this anymore, that's when he kind of took inspiration and created his own soft sculpture dolls. Soft sculpture dolls are these beautiful babies. They have like hand painted eyes. They're all hand sewn. They're just literally little works of art. And I think that Xavier's dolls or babies, and Martha Nelson Thomas, her babies, were also really beautiful. But she did sue him for stealing her idea, rightfully so. And they settled out of court, and eventually these dolls that you see that you think is a Cabbage Patch fakie, these were kits that Martha created in order to make it more accessible, because she thought that the Cabbage Patch craze was also crazy. So she created these dolls, and she had them as a little kit where you could buy the head and the body was ready, and you could just stuff it and you could make your own baby. What does that remind you of? Huh. So we got these hang tags from Martha Nelson Thomas. We got the idea of making your own, Martha Nelson Thomas. But I don't think that the vision that Martha had was the same as the vision that Xavier had. And so I never see Xavier as some like money hungry man. I kind of see them, there's an article that I read that explains it perfectly. I'll link it down below. But I kind of see them as both the creators of the Cabbage Patch doll and doll babies and this type of doll and this type of adoption, because we wouldn't have Cabbage Patch Kids if it wasn't for Xavier Roberts. And I'm glad that we do. I don't feel like he's a bad person. I don't feel like Martha is a bad person. I feel like they're both very lovely people and artists. And Xavier never came after Martha for creating the mass manufactured dolls that were very similar to the Cabbage Patch Kids. So I think that that's nice. But you already see this idea of the hang tag with the birth date and the name on it from Martha. You see the idea of making your own from Martha. I think there's also like Care Bear kits that you can make on your own as well. Like they come in a little kit. You see the birth certificates in the idea of adoption from Xavier Roberts. So all of these concepts were already there, but these were babies. So these weren't stuffed animals. So you see how these aren't exact copies because they're not babies, right? So then of things that I think Squishmallow doesn't realize that they took inspiration from. First off, we have Squishables, and Squishables was created in, let me see if I have the date, 2007. And that first part of the name, Squishables, they're also known for being like this soft, squishy materials. I feel like they actually used to be softer, but they have these big eyes. They've kind of transformed their brand into something a little more cryptid like they have a lot of really cool themes now, but that wasn't always the case. They used to have like these big jumbo food plushies with eyes and stuff like that, and I feel like Squishmallows came after that. So that was in 2017 or 2007, and Squishmallows didn't come around till 2017, 10 years later. So we have Squishables. Then we have Zoom Zooms, which actually came from Japan. What is more kawaii than a Zoom Zoom? And you know how Squishmallows have like all the different sizes? That started with a Zoom Zoom. Zoom Zoom, you could buy like a large, medium, small, and they could all just stack on top of each other. They're also this very soft, squishable material with these big eyes, and they also don't have arms. Kind of, if you turn it like this, it could be a Squishmallow. Then we have, which I think is crazy, the turtle tea. Is that what these are called? And you see how these flip, and then you get a different, if I can do it, you get a different face on this side. Well, these were around back in 2013, and then Squishmallow came up with their Flipamellow in 2020. 2013, is that right? No. So these came out in 2018, and then Squishmallow came out with the Flipamellow in 2020, so 2 years later. This idea of this plush flipping and turning into a different plush 2 years later. And there's these dinosaurs one that kind of transform that kind of remind me of these too, but they're like way back in the 80s. And these have big eyes, and a really popular Squishmallow is axolotls. Axolotls are so popular lately. Axolotls, frogs, mushrooms, all those things are trending. So you're gonna see them pop up. But these are all ideas that were around before Squishmallow. And then you also, oh, did we get through everything? Wow. So yeah, let's go back. There's the last thing that I want to talk about before we open up this plushie and look at it and examine it is the idea of why, if Squishmallow is suing Build-A-Bear now, didn't they sue Ty or TY, the Beanie Baby people, when they created Squishaboos, which are exact replicas of Squishmallow? Like, if anybody copied Squishmallow, it was the Squishaboos. And the Squishaboos, I have a date for when they came out. Let me just find it. 2021, when Squishmallow had already been out in 2017. Okay? So, why didn't Squishmallow sue Ty? Let's go into a little history of Beanie Babies just because I think it's fun, and then I'll tell you why, because I know why. I know fucking why. Okay, here we go. So, the inventor of Ty, Beanie Babies, was this guy named Ty Warner, and he invented them in 1993. He actually worked for Dakin, who's such a popular plush brand, vintage plush brand, and they fired him. So he thought of the idea of creating plushies that were more floppy, that didn't have a lot of stuffing, and that became the crazy Beanie Baby phase.
For the feet.
This craze is just, it's scary.
Of Beanie.
They're just cute.
Crazed.
That's the new patty.
Collectors.
You ready?
They've been waiting hours for Coach House gift store to open.
I like the duck.
We got 2 raccoons, 2 skunks, and 2 spiders. Now, see, you have to admit they're cute.
Here's a quick lesson on this beanie craze. A company called Ty makes them, releases them with different names.
They're all named after something, an animal, basically. They haven't done like funguses.
Then,
and there were originally 9. There was Legs the Frogs, Squiller the Pig, Spot the Dog, Flash the Orca, Splash the Whale, Chocolate the Moose, Patty the Platypus, Brownie the Bear, who eventually became Cubby, and then Pincher's the Lobster. And now Beanie Baby has come out with these Beanie Baby 2s, which are like reproductions that are like fuzzy. This is my Patty. I also have a Squiller. Yeah, the Pig. I have some more of these. I'd really like to get all of them. I found them at Cracker Barrel. So yeah, so why didn't Squishmallow come after Ty, T-Y, Beanie Babies? Why didn't they come after them when they created the Squishaboo? Look at the Squishaboo. Because if they were going to get into a lawsuit, they knew that they would be sued in return because they stole something from them. But you know what that is? This. The idea of a tag that has this birth date or squish date, and they try to change it to squish date so you wouldn't like, you would have a little bit of difference in the two, but it says a little bit about them, and it says like the date. It's identical to this, but it's an egg shape instead of a heart shape, and it's Squishmallow branded instead of TY. Yeah, see, it has the description and everything. So they didn't come after them because they would have been countersued. So it's better just to let sleeping dogs lie, right? But then why now? Why are you coming after Build-A-Bear now? It's because I feel like Squishmallow isn't doing very well. I've been noticing a decline in videos. I've been noticing a decline in sales. It used to be when I would go to Walmart or Target or any place looking for a specific one, especially Bigfoots or mushrooms, there would be none. Now they stick around, they linger, and I can't help but think that there has been a decline in interest in Squishmallow. They're not as valuable. If you look on Mercari, the prices are going down. Things that used to be like $100 are now $8. So I think they're just trying to get a big cash grab right now. I do feel like the ones that come out on the Jazzwares website that are like the exclusive ones are really nice, and I still want to get them. I don't hate Squishmallow. Like, I love Squishmallow. I especially love the Bigfoots, and I will continue to buy them. I think they're so cute, and I think they're so charming. I think they're adorable, but it doesn't stop the fact that they're suing when it's not really necessary, and they aren't gonna win. So let's look at this baby. If I can find my scissors under all my plushies. Let's see how Squishmallow like this is. But do you see how all toys really share ideas? And I think it's fine. I don't know why people get so crazy sometimes. It's like those people who hear like a tiny chord in the music that's the same as their song, and then they're like, oh, I'm suing this person. Because there's only so many chords. There's only so many things you can do. There's only so many toys you can make. There's only so many movies you can create. There's only so many books you can write. Like, ideas are going to be reused and recycled. Oh, but like I said, I ordered some of the beans, the Build-A-Bear beans, and they'll come in soon, and I'll do a little review on those. Maybe compare them to some more bean toys that are out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Honestly, I hope that Squishmallow knows that I probably wouldn't have bought this, but once I heard about the lawsuit, then I was like, oh, it's a little bit of toy history. I should go ahead and buy it and have it. And in case they win and they make them stop making them, I want to have one. So they just, you know, made me want to buy it even more. Here is the paper. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, so here she is. She has these little fuzzy parts. She's very beach ball like. You'll notice that she has hands, and on one of her hands is marketed Build-A-Bear. It's very obvious. The way they're sewn at the bottom is kind of odd to me, but yeah, they have this, which is very different. They are very nice. The filling of this is so good. It's better than a Squishmallow. I am shook. Guys, it's so good. Like, oh my god. I didn't think that that was going to be the case. This is nicer than a Squishmallow. Now, Build-A-Bear is making characters that are all like the characters that they already have that you can build are also going to be released in these and released in the beans. So I cannot tell you how surprised I am about the way that this feels. This guy's actually really good though. The Pokemon ones are really soft. It's just as good as a Squishmallow, if not better than a Squishmallow. The fabric is really nice. It has all these really nice embroidered pieces. The face is a little more simplistic, but I think it's really cute. Here's how it's sewed on the back. I think some of the stitching is a little bit like odd, but I don't mind it personally. Okay, so let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions. Sorry that I talked your head off, but like I just really wanted to share all these thoughts I had because it was gonna explode. Let me know your thoughts on this. I feel like there's always going to be enough toy love to go around, and that big companies don't really have to bear, really has to worry about the lawsuit. I don't think that Squishmallow should have even filed a lawsuit. I think there's enough differences, and both of them are very well established toy brands, and they would have both been fine. Yeah, so that is all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching and letting me nerdy about toys with you. Stay whimsical, and I will see you next week. Bye guys.